and Dota TV will still hear us. Why is Azubu doing that? It did it earlier, right?
Not a full drop.
Okay. Well, I can still hear you. You roboted for a second, so maybe that was just a bit of a blimp. But you appear to also still be in Dota, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still here. I'm still in the game. Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully this is going live in about 2 minutes. And, no, that was a bit awkward. We're still in this game. Roshan is now up. And Justin are going to look to take it out. With the Wind Ranger, they're doing it fast, but maybe not fast enough. As Boreal are in position, will charge forward onto Pizza Dad. Justin will pop his BKB. He's very isolated. He gets this Dusk up to the high ground, but the MKBs will drop him low. Vacuum and the wall pretty good from Calamity, but there's just not enough follow-up. They'll rip apart the Darkseer, and the physical damage is overwhelming as Boreal have taken out a large amount of their ability to fight. They are going to lose the CM. Sniped by Wind Ranger's power shot. Lich Ultimate will be thrown. Anti-Mage jumps in with the bash on the Shadow Fiend. He'll drop the Mana Void. They have eyes on Pizza Dead. Gem of True Sight now going to be dropped onto the floor. The Sentry Ward paying for itself and then some as the Wind Ranger and Anti-Mage now look to finish up Roche. The rest of our team will find the Spirit Breaker down towards the south of this exchange, but I suppose space created as the Roshan will be claimed in favor of Justin.
Yeah, it felt like a little bit overextension when the Shadow Fiend and the the Shadow Fiend and the Tusk were chilling here, not maybe remembering Lich was on the high ground and that they had really good vision of that whole team fight. So Aegis and Cheese over to Just, and defending again hard, but if they can wait to defend until Shadow Fiend is back, I think that they have a chance on Boreal. It all comes down to that next big team fight, and they will have Winter's Curse.
Yeah, well, that next big team fight's going to be coming up shortly. Just making sure everything's right on my own end so somebody actually gets to see this. And it looks like the stream will be going up live properly. MKB is the next choice for the Wind Ranger, although a little bit all-in. She has the Aegis, and I think she can afford to go for that. This Anti-Mage and this Wind Ranger are completely unstoppable in the fights, although it was a little bit awkward how that started out for Team Justin with the Spirit Breaker going in alone, then the Darkseer going in alone. As soon as they bring in the big guns, their fight looks so much more convincing.
Also, lucky bashes.
Yes, on both sides.
Yeah, and something else to mention on the bashes that's really cute is that Anti-Mage has a basher, of course, Shadow Fiend has an MKB. MKB's bash is magical, so I believe you can BKB up, and you don't get the bash on the MKB, right?
Yeah, it doesn't
but you can't do that for
all.
Basher. So it's like a slight advantage for this AM. I also wanted to point out how Boreal had been doing a fantastic job of... They got BKBs very early on those heroes, but they're still at 7 seconds for both of them. So that's kind of like... I feel like they had BKBs at 20 minutes, not 20.
They bump into Jives. The Anti-Mage will be able to blink out, however, so they're not going to be able to catch this Anti-Mage. He's way too swift with the Manta-style bots and with his natural mobility from the blink. MKB already is such an inferior bash. It's just like a little mini stun, so pretty piddly compared to the real deal. Down towards bottom, they smoke up, and we'll mop up this creep wave. As Wind Ranger's hunting, Aqua is going to be spotted out, I believe, by the remainder of that creep wave. So they're going to have to wait until the rest of their team shows up. And by the rest of their team, I mean the Anti-Mage. But he can be there in a moment's notice. 3 seconds with those boots of travel, and he should have the full Abyssal for this fight. And buyback on top of that, too. This Anti-Mage is very, very farmed. This is the time where you want to be ending the game with Anti-Mage. And we'll have to see if they'll be able to do just that. This is their time to shine.
Yeah, I also... Oh, Shadow Fiend bought boots? What? No, okay, Chris, sorry, I misread something on the courier. I was like, what are you talking about? Oh, but Jesus, 1 second, I have to fix...
Well, as Llama fixes that, we're going to be going for the high ground siege. A little bit of split push action coming out from Team Justin. They're going to push up towards top lane and no inside the Radiant base. The BKB popped by the Spirit Breaker. He's going to try for the Nether Strike, but Walrus Punch in the air. Justin will die, but with that time that he was making on the backlines, they're able to take down the melee barracks. They'll force out Calamity and they lose the Darkseer as well. But what they came for is what they got. As long as Justin can get out of here alive, they'll be fine. They got melee barracks bottom.
And top tower as well. That was my girlfriend's computer crashing and, you know, spitting out the rah sound. But I think while they got the kills, this time Justin did what I think they failed to do last time. Last time the Spirit Breaker went in ham and he died too quickly that they couldn't actually push the racks. This time he went in because he had BKB and other things. He took enough time to die that Windrunner took out that racks. She just needed him to burn Glyph Timer.
Yeah,
and then
and
they could
he
get
succeeded. I mean, the time that it took them to kill him was about the same in both situations, but the difference was that they were actively going for objectives while he was making that space. So although it's a bit awkward to have your Spirit Breaker commit that hard, it works out for them. Interesting pickup coming out from the Gyrocopter, but I kind of like it. He's going to go for a Basher. I think they need just anything to lock down this Anti-Mage. They can't go for normal pickups anymore. Although it looks crazy to have Mask of Madness Basher on Gyrocopter, you know what? At this point, Boreal need to go for unconventional play, and that's probably one of the ways to do it.
Yeah, so it's a way to go for it. I don't know how well it'll work. Of course, Gyro does normally get up in people's faces anyway, but what are your odds? Like, how does the Gyro get in there? Do you need the Winter's Splinter Blast first to pop the Lincolns, Winter's Curse, and then Gyro walks up and uses an Abyssal? Like, how are we getting the Gyro in?
You don't. You wait until they get on top of you. After the Abyssal is dropped by the Anti-Mage onto the Gyrocopter, if somehow by some miracle you're able to survive the burst damage coming up from the Anti-Mage, then you turn an Abyssal onto Chives. But he also has a Consumed Moonshard on this Anti-Mage. I don't really see him surviving that long, but if there's some way to do that, maybe a defensive Snowball, maybe a Cold Embrace from the Winter Wyvern, they could, in theory, catch out the Anti-Mage with it. It's... yeah, just one of those situations where
It's rough.
Yeah, it's rough. There's not another way to put it.
So it is something though where Gyrocopter, okay, he can go this Abyssal, and then I think
Pizza
you swap
Dad
out
going in on Chives. They are going to be able to throw out the Snowball, but he's able to blink out of there fine. It really didn't feel like anything happened. And now Wind Ranger is here. She has the Focus Fire, although not a lot of detection on the ground. They're going to drop the Crystal Maiden ultimate, cancelled by the Lich ultimate as he drops the Chain Frost. They'll lose the Wind Ranger. No Aegis anymore. And now Anti-Mage committing forward. They have the Cold Embrace. Vacuum back, not going to do much of anything. Snowball forward onto Chives, however. A lot of heroes inside the Snowball. 4 onto the high ground. They'll chase forward for Justin. They'll bring down the Spirit Breaker. 2 kills for Boreal. And they successfully hold. Although now Anti-Mage is beating away at their tier 3 tower. Chives is going to be able to blink out. Tusk is coming in, but not a lot of mana. Not even enough to cast his ultimate. And that was pretty much a big bluff coming out from Pizza Dad, although successfully.
They lost the bottom racks. Okay, can we talk about how that was the most perfect snowball I've ever seen? I don't know if you caught, but Doxia wanted to use the vacuum wall combo. He got off the vacuum, and then Pizza Dad's like, oh crap, everybody get in my snowball. And it actually stunned Doxia in the wall animation, which also would have been a horrible wall for Doxia. He's kind of lucky he got stunned and didn't cast it off. So they avoided wall vacuum with snowball, and I don't know if I've seen a snowball that good before.
I've seen a couple that give it a run for its money, but it was very nice. The issue with that snowball is the fact that they bring 4 heroes into a potential bad spot, but since that wasn't punished, it turns out to be amazing for them, and is one of the great ways to turn that fight. But a Blink Abyssal onto the Shadow Fiend. This vacuum's on point. The Mana Void will be dropped, although not quite enough damage. Cold Embrace will heal Shadow Fiend almost up to full. Calamity's Winter's Curse, and will be brought down as Shadow Fiend also takes out the tier 2 tower. Nobody from Boreal dies, but Chives wants in, although maybe he shouldn't. He's going to blink forward, decides better over it, can't get that first hit to look for the bash, and with it Justin are going to be repelled. Still, this game could go either way. The advantage is in the side of Justin, mostly because of that bottom Rax going down, but 1 Rax at this point in the game does not mean all that much, but we have the Abyssal done on Gyrocopter.
Yeah, and again, they're buying out for stuff. We have buyback status of not so good for Boreal. 2 only. 1 on the Tusk and 1 on the Shadow Fiend. But I think Bakamono deciding, I have to do this or we lose. You know, sometimes the safe play, it just loses you the game more slowly. So
yeah, and this is one of those situations. I really want to see the 10% ranged bash come into play, but the active and just the raw damage is really why you're building this one.
It'll go through those BKB.
Lotus Orb Spirit Breaker is going to charge in the Shadow Fiend towards himself. That was ridiculous.
So I actually think buying Lotus Orb against Spirit Breaker, if you see a Lotus Orb up on someone and you're the Spirit Breaker, you should always charge them because it puts them in an awful position. Like, what are the odds that they're in a good position if they're put halfway between you and the Spirit Breaker? Like, they're going to be here or somewhere awful, especially if you charge them from base. Maybe you get them in here. Like, wow, there's a Lotus Orb. I'm really surprised Tusk went for that. I see how maybe it'll protect someone from the AM Mana Void, although probably not either.
They need it, right? They need to be able to reflect a Shackle, or ideally reflect an Abyssal Blade. It's going to keep them a lot safer, against a lot of these other spells, but I don't think I've ever seen a Shadow Fiend charge before. That was quite something. The Lotus Orb's applied again. Spirit Breaker, I know you want to. Come on!
I
We
actually
can't.
think it's like terrifying. If I were Shadow Fiend, I'm like, I'm disabling help if you don't stop. Just because I think the Spirit Breaker could take advantage of it. As you said, we rarely see it though. It will be interesting to note if we see any sort of. I think Anti-Mage will Mana Void through a Lotus Orb just because it would be Mana Void on himself, and he generally has a lot of mana. He's
Yeah,
not
it doesn't bother him
something
too
he has to worry
much.
about.
The mini
Uh,
stun's a little annoying, but in general, yeah, he doesn't care.
So, and Gyrocopter getting close. He still need. Never mind. He still needs another 1,000 gold for buyback, but he can farm that up lickety split, and he might just head down bottom, push out the wave, and be able to get that. And it's it's a short Roshan. You know, not the 8-minute short, but it's still below average. And I wonder if they can make something happen with that.
Yeah, it's hard. Anti-Mage isn't getting any scarier. He's officially full 6-slotted, although maybe he decides to replace the Battle Fury. Not really. I mean, the only item that's expendable in his inventory right now is the Vladimir's offering. Replace that with a heart or something along those lines for the Anti-Mage, but that's about it. That is about it, and Justin are in a situation where if Boreal maintain this hold, things could get sketchy. Although I'm not sure quite what that means. It depends on this next Roshan. Another
I think
Lotus Orb gonna come out, this time on the Spirit Breaker.
I think that we're at the point in the game where if either team makes a mistake, probably you need to make two mistakes just to factor in buybacks, but it's something where you make a mistake, the opponents, both you and your opponents are strong enough to take racks and then go for tier 4s. So you have to just be very careful. Everybody's getting really big, they hit hard, they hit fast. You just don't have the room for error, and they spot the Roshan out, and I don't think Boreal is going to notice or be in a position to do anything with their
It
bottom
just
lane
dropped so
pushing in.
fast. Yeah, the boots of travel to the Anti-Mage, and
What was that effect? I saw some weird, funky effect on Roche, and I have no idea what it was.
I'm
So
not sure either. Is that the Anti-Mage's bash?
it might be. I'm talking about when he like turned completely purple. The Roshan.
I don't remember that. I don't know. Reborn being
Reborn.
reborn. Yeah, we'll just pretend like nothing happened. We have a cheese on this Anti-Mage and an Aegis for the Wind Ranger. Cheese is a much better item to have in your inventory than the Vlads, but Chives is still incredibly scary. Boreal are fighting for their tournament lives here. If they get eliminated here, that would be incredibly surprising for a lot of people that have been following the American scene. They're going to pop BKB on the Shadow Fiend. And right now, without that BKB, taking the fight in the next 50 seconds is going to be very difficult, although it was already pretty low. This is hard. Kikoni is significantly less powerful without that magic immunity. If they get a shackle onto him, that could be crucial. Justin are going to start the push, and if anybody makes one false move, that's the end of it. At least the end of the defense if it's on somebody without buyback. That said, the buybacks are starting to come out for everybody but the Gyrocopter. He needs like 100 gold. Should be able to find it.
Yeah, they not quite able. Oh gosh, let's see what they can do here. There's going to be a rocket coming out. Is there any sort of follow-up? We've also got business going on in top lane. Oh gosh, they're going to lose. They get the mini bash, actually, that we were talking about being kind of silly on the MKB, but they got it, and they've used up the Aegis with the freezing field. They need more follow-up. A cooldown, I don't know if that's going to be enough. There's a nice vacuum coming up, but they get the Winter's Curse, and they're going to kill off the dogs here before he gets the wall down. This Lich ulti is not doing enough damage with all those BKBs, and they've held again for Boreal. Anti-Mage is like, oh, I need to take out your racks, but he didn't manage to finish off the melee, and it's going to regen, and they might even be able to get the Lich here. That's a very dead cooked crab.
And now they get the gem too. The Gyrocopter gets a bash on the Spirit Breaker of all things. Karmic Justice coming up from Bakemono, and they hold again. This is getting really hard for Justin. Breaking base is so very difficult, although breaking the Winter Wyvern maybe not so much. Again, we're going to see the Wyvern get cut out a little bit. The Anti-Mage will be able to bring her down very swiftly. But Justin have lost all of their steam. Although net worth and gold means less and less, the graphs still kind of show the momentum of this game as it's starting to swing back in the favor of Boreal for the first time in a long time. However, the situation arises that it's still very difficult to hold against these creeps. They're constantly pushing in the mid lane. Oh, however, the Anti-Mage is going to be caught out. They get the Abyssal on Chives! The Anti-Mage will be able to pop out his cheese and blink out to safety, but that's a cheese for just the Abyssal cooldown, and now it's Boreal's turn to push through mid lane. Oh, yeah, can they force out buybacks here? Maybe.
I think they're going to force... They might actually say on Justin, look, we'll lose our tier 4. They, of course, do still have glyphs, but they might be forced to Windrun a buyback. She wants to hold it. I think she's going to hold it, and they might lose ranged Rax because she's trying to hold it. Oh, they actually back out.
Conservative play from Boreal. This best of one means so much that taking any risk is going to be very hard for them to make that call, especially considering the fact that bottom lane is pushing in, getting some damage on their tier 4 towers. Although for now are looking pretty healthy. If they went for that barracks and then die, this game could have swung back to the enemy side. 30 to 34, it could go either way. Heart's the last item for the anti-mage. BKB's the item for win range to finish out her build. And Justin aren't really getting any stronger, I want to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to contextualize when we're at this point what any stronger. The anti-mage, oh, he does go the heart. So I agree with you. I'm not sure whether that was the item, but at the same time,
what else could it be? He's
exactly.
just not tanky enough, and none of these items that he picks up are really going to have the same impact as the other ones that have he's selected. Now with the smoke up, Boreal are going to go on the aggressive with everybody but the gyrocopter. It does mean that without this abyssal, things are going to be harder to kill, but maybe they just find this Lich out alone. The anti-mage is around the corner and could back him up. Chives is sitting behind him. The Lich is laying out in bait. Cook Crab is going to get two-shot by wicked sick Kikoni, and now they'll chase for more. That was just a clean pick-off. They're charging forward. The Spirit Breaker's going to jump onto him with the Abyssal Blade. Kikoni might be going down himself. Thrown into the Snowball. Pops to BKB. Trying to man-fight. Winter's Curse onto Justin. They'll lose. The Spirit Breaker with the Requiem. Chives' damage output's going to be significantly weakened, but he's still going to survive inside the trees. He's going to be surged. Gets the bash onto Meme Machine with the Shackle, the Vacuum, the Wall, and they're going to try to turn things around. The damage on the Gyrocopter is significantly decreased by the Cold Embrace. Invised away. Thrown into the Snowball. The defensive play from Radiant's team is not enough to save the Gyrocopters. They're able to bring him down. A couple more bashes, and that'll be the death of another. They have buybacks on most of these heroes. They really don't want to spend them, but bottom lane is pushing in, and it looks like Justin should be able to force this. PQ survives because of a lack of detection on the Dire team.
Yeah, so that team fight, it looked like it was going so well for Boreal with the early pickups, but then they just didn't have what it took to seal the deal. A really nice save from the Wyvern, the Cold Embrace, I think, helping keep the Gyro alive for even longer, but just as we saw, wasn't enough, and now they're forced into their buybacks if they want to keep their racks. I think they're going to lose it. Gosh, CM's just going to go down. Jaw, that's a dieback.
Oh, that's so awkward. You can't TP into an anti-mage like that as a Crystal Maiden at any point in the game, I want to say, but this point, no exception. At the very least, it peels the anti-mage off of the barracks without having a buyback on Kikoni. At least for now. 40 seconds
you might decide that's worth it, right? As much as it looked like, oh gosh, you just died and died back and that's so bad, it might technically be worth it to save the buybacks on the cores.
That's, only if they're able to save it. 30 seconds is a long time when you're dealing with a situation like this, but it looks like they should be able to. Is Glyph available for the Radiant team? Oh, they have a Snowball, point blank onto Chives. They're going to pop his Lincoln Sphere. Winter's Curse is going to be thrown onto Manta Illusion, but the Abyssal Blade's on the real Anti-Mage. Is the damage quite there? Anti-Mage is still only half HP. Will turn and fight. Lich Ultimate will be thrown, and he'll be able to blink out to safety. That is a lot of Boreal's ability to get kills thrown down the drain as Justin dives into their base. Nether Strike onto the Gyrocopter. Cold Embrace. They get a couple more bashes. The Focus Fire will commence. Can they save the Gyro's life? The Wind Ranger gets obliterated. Kikoni is a monster. He'll throw the Requiem. He's standing inside the wall. Justin will be slowed, but again, not a lot of detection in this game outside of the gems. Meanwhile, up towards top, the melee barracks have fallen to Chives. He's going to be able to escape, or is he just going straight in? Abyssal on a PQ. That's going to be a dead Winter Wyvern, although the Snowball connects. This Anti-Mage is still standing strong. Chives is getting mini bash. Can they get the real thing? They need that 10% to come into play onto Chives. They're going to look for it, but can't quite find it. The Anti-Mage will be able to escape. Blinks towards the right-hand side. He has some backup by the Darkseer and the Spirit Breaker. They'll surge out the Anti-Mage, and he should survive, although the missile is flying and might very well connect. He blinks aggressively towards Lotus Orb is going to reflect the missile. Chives is stuck in the middle of the entire enemy team fighting against the Gyrocopter. Who gets the bashes? It's the Gyrocopter, and Chives will fall!
Yep. It was the 10% bash. How does that make you feel?
Terrible if you're the Anti-Mage. You have buyback, but my goodness. Ranged Basher is one of the most frustrating things to go against in Dota. You know that it's not nearly as good as Melee Basher, but when it works amazingly, and Bakemono's Basher might have just won them the game.
Yeah, a really nice play from them. At the same time, Boreal, they have a one range.
Shadow Fiend, they're going for it. They need to end the game now. This is the only time for it. Divine on the Gyrocopter, balls on the floor. Boreal are going to be swinging them at the enemy team with Divine Rapiers. It's not, whatever, I don't care. Divine Rapiers in their pockets. They're wailing away at these barracks, and they're going to go for the end.
We have a DC, what?
Ooh,
okay.
That's awkward.
I was worried it was like, oh, I think we've lost, because I don't think they've lost. They have buybacks, and I think actually if Boreal doesn't win this next team fight, which they're a man down for, they've lost.
But if they
So
win the team fight, they win the game. There is so much pressure on this next fight. It really is just this moment to end it. If they're able to pull out the miracle, which might very well happen, the damage from a Divine Rapier is obscene on the Gyrocopter and Shadowfiend. We already saw how much those crits were doing, but still on the flip side of the coin, if Anti-Mage TP's in onto their base, he's able to get Mega Creep so very easily. The Glyph has already been spent, and Anti-Mage is going to have to buy back here. There's no other way about it.
yeah, at the same time, if they can get that rapier, there aren't our buybacks are slim on the ground for both teams. Everybody has bought back recently for Boreal. If they don't win this, it's just GG.
Yeah. What a terrible time to pause.
Yeah, oh, it's good. It's letting us calm all the way down. I can revel in the glory that is the computer next to me blowing up periodically.
Oh dear.
Yeah, what about, okay, let's talk some situations. We have Winter's Curse active. We've got okay, the ult's honestly for Shadowfiend Gyrocopter, it's not a huge deal, although Requiem of Souls, maybe it'll reduce damage enough. I don't know. I don't know how he's getting it off in this team fight that's upcoming. Oh, Spirit Break is down.
Yeah, all that matters is the rapiers, I think, and if the Shadowfiend Gyrocopter are able to hit the buildings. So the situation for Justin is they need to lock down both of these heroes, and that probably won't happen unless the Wind Ranger is here, and that stinks.
We gotta verify some cash up in here. I refuse to see this game end because of a DC. I think that's horrible. I'll cry a little, you know?
Oh dear. This feels so bad for both of the teams. If you're Boreal, you just picked up the Divines. Like, you're about to win this game if you win this next fight. The adrenaline's pumping, they're ready to go, and then pause. It's such a momentum breaker, and
I think for both teams, because you analyze stuff too much, and then sometimes you psych yourself out. You're like, oh gosh, what if they all have buybacks? Although I think they know. Do they know that Spirit Breaker doesn't have a buyback? No, they don't know. So it's something where you're like, oh, what about the buybacks? Maybe we should just have bought these rapiers and backed out. Maybe Boreal wouldn't have thought that, as you said, because they had the momentum. Really hard to see, like, what you should be doing when the pause makes you overthink, I guess.
Yeah. It's really now or never. And now means whenever we're unpaused, not technically now. Whenever this game resumes, which could take a while. I don't know what Wind Ranger's issue is, and I'm not sure if Justin know either. How terrible would it be if Wind Ranger can't get back in and we have to unpause the game because the timer is too long? That would be awful.
That's not how I want to see this go down. I want to see our final team fight. I want to see, like, near perfect positioning from everyone. I want to see Shackles and Dreams because someone didn't BKB.
I want to see Divine Rapier crits from the Shadowfiend. That's what I want to see.
He two-shot, when he two-shotted the Lich up in top lane, what feels like years ago, I was mildly mind-blown. I mean, it's something where Shadowfiend, he can scale into the late game, but a lot of the way we see him played right now is the mech build, which does nerf his late game abilities, because he has to either replace that item, or, I mean, a mech at 50 minutes, what is that? So I really like seeing this kind of late game Shadowfiend build.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing about Shadowfiend right now is if you are going to get to this point, usually you're pretty unhappy about it. It's just that we don't see games go this long often, and a lot of that comes down to good plays from both sides. Boreal had such a great early advantage. If we take a look at this game, like 5 minutes in, they almost had a 5k lead. But since then, they've not held a lead at all this game. Like,
then I think, what exactly was it that turned the game? Let's try and remember. I think
Shackles.
There was
never-ending fight up towards top with the buyback coming out from the Tusk, where he ends up not getting anything off of it. And I can't remember how many Shackles connected, but it felt like 8 in a row at the very least. Every time she threw it out, at least it hit a hero, and half of those hit 2 heroes. It was ridiculous. They're gonna start a computer restart and.
Okay, let's look at effigies. Right, that's what we gotta do.
Is it really that time?
Yeah. There's not very many good ones. Okay, never mind. I'm regretting asking you to look at effigies. I have looked at the effigies and I am disappointed.
And the Radiance effigies, unfortunately, half of them are gone.
Yeah, this is not quality.
Never
unfortunately,
give
guys.
up. Never surrender, Ja. And right now, that's pretty much what the Crystal Maiden's saying. She's fighting against almost mega creeps. This is so hard.
She's probably gonna freezing field them. I wouldn't be surprised.
She
Like
kind of
if
has to. Like, what else do
yeah,
you do?
you drag him into Fountain and hope. You pray a little bit. You be like, please, Fountain, kill these. I know you're high ground now, but follow me, creeps. I've got treats in the fountain. So, something else that I've been wondering about. I know Wyvern is super poor, and there's been a lot of buybacks and so on. But I would have loved to see this game get to the refresher Wyvern because I think that's so powerful. And the first surprise refresher is always, hey, look at this. You didn't know we had one. We can use it, and the AM's out of position.
Yep. Well,
Trying to keep things light as a llama. Let's also talk. Okay, Windrunner. She has bots now. Let's say somehow both of these teams survive this lost hold, which I don't think is possible. I mean, actually, it could be, right? If like they come and they kill all the supports, Boreal may just back out, and we go back to a hold. So let's say that happens. What do you do if you're a Windrunner here? What do you buy? Like you're looking pretty slotted.
I don't think you buy anything really. The only item I'd consider
Moonshot, right? You eat a moonshot and then
that doesn't really help Wind Ranger though. She
night
relies on her.
vision. Extra night
Well,
vision.
when you
Come on.
consume it, you don't get the night vision.
Oh,
So
you don't? Never
yeah.
mind.
So I mean, yeah, I don't think it really changes anything. Maybe she considers botsing in, selling the BKB, or just dropping the BKB in her stash and buying a Deso to try and base trade. In a theoretical base trade between both of these teams, even with Focus Fire and with Anti-Mage being as slotted as he is, I don't think they can trade against the Divines coming out from the SF and Gyrocopter. If that were what it came down to, how would they lock down the Gyro and SF? Like, because it very well might be a base trade scenario. There's always going to be creeps in the Boreal's base.
I mean, their BKBs are down to 5 seconds. You know, you just gotta your wind run is enough time that you can wait out the BKB. Of course, as you said, they're walking on your towers for those 5 seconds.
And they also
so-
have the MKBs. Like, Windrun does not save you at all. You're just going to get demolished.
I think it's actually broken that the Moonshot is no longer. It doesn't give you the night vision. I didn't know when you consumed it, it doesn't give you night vision. Yeah, I think that's upsetting. I feel like you ate a piece of the moon. You should have my night vision, right?
Fair enough. I mean, lore checks out. It would
Oh
probably
my gosh,
be
the
too
spirit
good, though.
bear can eat it. You can feed a bear moonshots. That's adorable.
And also terrifying. That bear does so much if you give it attack speed. It's really good. But we don't have a bear in this game. Right now we also don't have a Wind Ranger, unfortunately. They have like 5 minutes for her to connect, and then we're just gonna go, and we'll see how it happens.
Yeah. See, I'm trying to think of other funky things you can go. As a
The
super
courier
late-
necro books always.
Yes, yes, okay. They do have bots level 2 as well. Something I saw in a base race game I was in, because apparently a lot of things I cast become base races. The smoke into the enemy's base bots 2 onto the hero, right? Because maybe the creep is too obvious, so you smoke up, and you know, it's the same principle, but you do it with a hero, and you maybe get that Windrunner close enough, she focus fires their tier 4s.
Alright, so for Anti-Mage to go for the maximum amount of damage onto the enemy's structure, with 8,000 gold, he's probably going to have to buy back here. That's going to cost him about 2,000 of that. Do you even consider, like, buying that Necro book if you're going to go for the base trade? I think so.
Yeah,
Oof.
yeah.
Right now...
Come on, it seems like it's, yeah, extra, although, are you maxed out at attack speed right now?
No, he's actually far from it. Only 342
Yeah,
attack speed.
so yeah, of course, yeah, you Necrobook, you tell one of your allies to turn into Beast Monster as well. But no, I think Necrobook seems like a fine thing to go, keep it on the courier.
I think the bigger item for the Anti-Mage here is actually Refresher. If
Yeah,
they
I
want to
was-
win this fight.
I was gonna say maybe Refresher Courier for the extra Abyssal.
Not even on the
But-
courier. He might need that in this fight. Like, now.
Oh my gosh, they're so antsy on Boreal.
As
I
they
would be
should
too, though.
be. Yeah.
Like, you know, it's one of those moments also in the downtime you realize stuff. Like suddenly I'm hungry. I would like some snacks because the hype is gone. So all the adrenaline. I can see how that's really frustrating. So also how do you come out of this pause ready? Like, where are your fingers? You're all tensed over keys?
I mean, it's not like their APM needs to be very high now. what's going to happen is the Anti-Mage will buy back. Right, the Wind Ranger's going to respawn in just a couple seconds. Glyph is about to expire. They get this melee barracks for sure. Then what's the play for Boreal? They have to be considering what they go for, and I think that's just tier 4 as an Ancient.
Yeah, I think you sacrifice PQ to get hits on the Ancient. Of course, sacrificing PQ only gets you like 3 hits, because that's how fast the Wyvern does.
I'm not sure if it's even sacrificing PQ. I think the play here is you want to go for a Blink Winter's Curse onto the Wind Ranger, just to delay as long as you can. There is no BKB on the Anti-Mage. So the Winter's Curse, if you could catch both of them inside of it, would be absolutely amazing, and maybe they're able to catch that. Right now we're just waiting on the admin's call for the time. Wind Ranger's still not here, and there's no way to relax, Chives! I know this is difficult for both teams, but... oh, it's hard.
Oh, yeah, and I wonder if, because of this, the way this is going to be going, if Windrunner doesn't make it back in. Now that she's got 6 seconds after the 1 minute, they could also just blink and go onto the docks here, because then he won't be able to get the wall to put it against themselves. So, and Bakemono says this like every game. I think he might have a obsession with things. But
you know, with things. With his Divine Rapier that he's stroking.
yeah. Just making sure it's all nice and polished, as they say. Calamity, okay, he's got 9 seconds on his wall. Can we just talk about how big these illusions will be? Like, it's
not
actually...
that big. The illusions aren't going to benefit.
You don't get the stats and everything, as you said, right? Oh, sorry, you get stats. You don't get stuff like the Divine Rapier, but they're still sizable illusions.
It's only 100.
Presence.
Yeah, Presence of the Dark Lord's big, but it's only 127 damage illusion.
Get ready.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
We're ready to go?
Okay, Glyph. And now they're killing Ziggurats. Where is this team fight going to come from?
Anti-Mage, why aren't you buying back yet? There's the buyback from AM. They've already lost one of their tier 4s. Boreal, can they keep on going for this? They bring in the Crystal Maiden. Nobody's defending their base. They're going to get the vacuum back onto all of them, but the defensive snowball with the BKB. Winter's Curse will be thrown, but returned on the PQ. PQ is ripped apart by the Divines. Gyrocopter's going to turn with those flat cannon shots, dropping the enemy team low. The Tusker's already died. The Lich Ultimate bouncing, loses the Gyrocopter his life. They shackle up to the Shadow Fiend. Divine Rapier is on the floor, both of them, and that is... game. GG called out by Pizza Dad.
So,
what a terrible pause.
2 things happened there that were huge. As you said, the returned Winter's Curse. I'm not quite sure how that mistake was made by PQ. I think maybe just too many things going on the screen. The other thing that I think was huge was the Gyrocopter actually was locking down the Windrunner with the Abyssal Blade and just didn't... I mean, it must have been a communication error between Wyvern, because he also popped the Winter's Curse after that. So,
yeah, that was the all-in fight from Boreal, and it's not going to work out for them. Boreal are eliminated from the GameShow Global Esports Cup in a really big upset. I'm interested to see how Justin progress inside this tournament. We'll have to see how they fare against some of the best teams in American Dota right now. Unknown, Digital Chaos, Void Boys that we saw earlier today. Let's see how they compare.
Honestly, it's fantastic for you, right? I don't know if they're actually 5 randoms, like they said, but if you're a new team, right, and you qualify for something like this, even if you get ruffle stomped every game, you're going to improve your early game so much just by playing these superior teams and learn so much about strategy. So I think it's nothing but up from here for Justin.
Yeah, as 5 newer players, also getting those connections is very important. We'll have to see how far that's going to take them in the future. Thanks for watching. That's the last game of the day. As Team Wanted, unfortunately, did forfeit against Boreal. But with that said, we're going to have more American games coming up in the future tomorrow. 2 simultaneous streams at about the same time for the GameShow Global Esports Cup. And across the board, in all of the regions, the group stage number 2 is going to start picking up as well. Starting with Southeast Asia tomorrow, and we'll be back with those games here on this channel, as well as GameShow _D2AN_2. And you'll see casters like me, Grandis V, and like Llama Down Under, who was kind enough to join me here on these games. If you like us, you can follow us on Twitter under those names, and hopefully we'll be back with some more entertaining series. Thanks for tuning in, and that'll be it for tonight.